All right, guys, we're back. Jujimufu is in the building. Well, I'm actually in his building. This guy is pretty solid. He's 250 pounds, 5'10", and he's athletic. If you've ever seen any of his videos of him doing his flips and his tumbling and all of that, today I'm actually gonna run him through a combat sports assessment where we're gonna go through a postural analysis, and guess what? You get to use that heart rate monitor right there, and we're gonna do a maximum aerobic power test to measure his aerobic power so that I can give him protocols to increase his aerobic and, you know, his conditioning overall, right?
I'm excited.
Let's get into it.
I feel like I'm getting a driver's license taken.
Or it could be another thing where you're getting arrested.
Right.
And that happens too.
Yes. And have an itch to do a back relax pose in bodybuilding. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do if I'm gonna cheat the test, so.
You can't cheat.
Oh, I can't. Well, look at this software. Well, I'm bigger than I thought I was.
You look a little big.
Yeah, I got some muscle dysmorphia going on.
This guy's pretty big. Where do you have right now, where do you have the knee pain?
Left knee.
Left knee. Okay, so you can see a little bit there. The reason why is you're lateralized more to that left side a little bit.
I'm leaning on that side?
Leaning to the side.
Why would I be leaning on the knee that's bad?
I don't know. What happens is also on that lateralized side, when you're leaning towards it, you're more apt to being in more internal rotation on that side that you're lateralized to. And then the opposite side, you're more externally rotated on that far side hip. So that could be that right side has more strength.
The right side is way stronger.
Okay.
You can just look at the muscular
You do see the muscle, yeah.
See, this is my jumping and landing leg from when I used to do acrobatics, and look at this.
You guys see that right there?
That's not an injury. That's just
an indentation on his vastus medialis. It's not, he didn't tear it or anything.
No, I've tried to build it up for years to catch up to this one, but I don't know, 20 years of jumping and landing on this leg is, you can't catch up with knee extensions.
Yeah, that's true. So usually, you know, with the left side being more externally rotated, you're gonna have more quad development on that right side, on the right side, because you're more externally rotated. Another thing is when you're more internally rotated, that internally rotated hip is back. So then to counterbalance that, your shoulder is gonna wanna rotate forward, which causes that look of your shoulder kind of dipping down.
Yeah.
It's an illusion where your shoulder's kicking forward to kind of counterbalance yourself. So in order for us to put full symmetry on, which you're never really symmetrical, your body's never really fully symmetrical.
Right.
But if we can get more external rotation on the left side, more internal rotation on the right side, it'll give you more even distribution of strength through both sides. So now when we're looking at moving left to right, forward, backwards, at least you're gonna be more in tune with your body. I wanna look at your feet a little bit.
Yeah.
We got the Vivos on. You guys see, he's got the new white Modus strengths. Shout out to Vivo, barefoot. For you knowing your body, do you feel like you're stronger on the left or stronger on the right with your feet?
My feet, I don't feel any difference.
Okay.
And in terms of legs, my right leg is way stronger than my left.
Just relax your feet. See the right side. You see it's slightly externally rotated. You can see your knee kind of shift.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to do that.
Yeah, with the internal rotated side, right? What you're gonna see is you're gonna have more of that higher arch on the right side because you're internally rotated. On the externally rotated side, you're gonna have more of a collapsed arch. If you're externally rotated, your tibia is gonna wanna go the opposite way. So your tibia is gonna be more internally rotated. That's what's gonna cause that collapsation of the arch. So we can get stronger arches, get more external rotation on the tibia, more internal rotation on the femur.
External rotation over here,
rotation on the left.
more internal rotation over here.
Yeah.
So it should be like a 90-90 stretch on this side.
Exactly. And then from there, we can work some expansion compression type of techniques that will enhance your breathing mechanics. We just went through a postural analysis. We got to see where he was lateralized to, basically meaning where he's putting most of his weight towards. And that's gonna show me the dysfunction or asymmetries that we need to improve upon to allow him to be a better moving athlete. So you have these trains of lines that run through your entire body that are connected through the fascia. So you have your oblique sling, your frontal line, your back line, your superficial back line, your lateral line. These things are connected, but they allow for correlation or coordination of those muscles that are connected with that fascia. So when you look at the oblique sling, you're looking at the obliques tying into the adductors. That helps with rotation. Same thing with the back side, which you're looking at QL muscles all the way down to the glute and the hamstring, because that helps with rotation. When I look at movement patterns, I'm also looking at foundational patterns, but I'm also thinking about fascia. That's gonna be very good when you're looking at like dance or acrobatics, or in this case, combat sports. So I'm working in these exercises or in these planes of motion that hit these muscles that encase those fascial lines. Give me more internal rotation on the backside leg. There you go.
Wow. That's extreme. Is that what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm lunging?
Depends on what lunge you're doing. When you have hip extension, you have to be in internal rotation. When I go to sprint, like if I'm getting off the line, as I'm coming off, you need to be here, and that big toe needs to put pressure down. If I'm here, I'm losing that full hip extension.
Oh, I see.
In the case of a lunge, we still want to maintain stability, so I do want to come down almost in that same plane. When you turn it in, it takes stress off the knee. Yeah, now you're activating those adductors too as
Stop
well.
working with bodybuilders.
Well, bodybuilders also need that internal rotation also.
Because that made all the sense in the world, what you just said, in like 30 seconds.
Well, when you squat, your hips go into internal external rotation. There was a point in your squat, you know that you're gonna have, your sacrum's gonna round. But when your sacrum rounds, and you can get away with it by having a strong brace. But if, let's say for instance, the person didn't have a strong brace and they're severely butt winking, that's gonna tend to have some issues down the line, end up having some low back problems. What you wanna do is you wanna get to a point where you have good internal external rotation, especially on the end range of the squat. Now at the end range of your squat, when you're higher than 90 degrees, you're gonna be in external rotation. Once you get out of that position, you go into 60 degrees, now you're going internal rotation. So it starts at external rotation, then it goes back to internal. That's why you see some
knee cave,
right?
Yeah.
It actually is supposed to happen. It's just, you don't want true valgus to happen.
Right, I got you.
It literally is supposed to be like that,
right.
Just not that extreme. Straight leg raise. I want you to squeeze your quads, so drive your knee into the ground. Keep the other leg straight. Dorsiflex the toes, toes at the top of the shin.
Yeah.
Drive your leg as high as you can until you feel that stretch. And stop. Our goal is that we want to get to that 90-degree angle. So that's hip extension. So we got to get more hip extension with this being flexed. You want to be flexible and mobile, and you know what mobility is, strength and flexibility. So we want to have the strength there to be strong in those end ranges. Obviously, if you guys seen him, he knows how to do some splits and he's pretty flexible. At some points, you're going to miss out on certain things that you need to improve upon.
Yeah.
And at the level that you're at, it's a 1% difference. So now we have to be very cognizant of what's going on in the body. What do we need to improve upon? All right, so now we're gonna work into our power metrics. So now I wanna see how well he's able to produce force horizontally. So we're gonna be doing a broad jump, bilateral stance first, big extension, drop your hips back, and then you're gonna jump forward. And as you jump forward, I want you to drive your hips forward, and then I need you to land on 2 feet.
Okay.
Right? All this is showing me is your force displacement going horizontal.
This isn't gonna look pretty.
There you go. We know that, one, we need to improve on your landing mechanics. From a unilateral perspective, ideally, we want to see those single legs come up a little bit. We need to do unilateral because it's unilateral sport in a lot of ways. And I think football should do it too, because every sport is somewhat unilateral. You need to change direction. We also need to see asymmetries, and we need to see what's stronger than the other so that we can focus on that given point. So now, let's go lateral. There you go. Hit it. Much better. We went through power testing. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the upper body muscular endurance testing. Now, my man here is very strong. So we're gonna see how long he can endure with that strength that he has. He's gonna go ahead and do maximal reps on the pull-up. 13, come on, finish. 14, keep going, keep going. Get up, get up, get up. Good, 14 and a half. The Bolt score is gonna show me how well your breathing mechanics are, how much oxygen you can take in, and how much CO2 you can tolerate. So it's body oxygen level test, right? How much oxygen you have. And I also have a pulse oximeter that I'm gonna put on you.
Oh, great.
Along with your
heart rate monitor.
Normal breath in, normal breath out. Hold your nose, hold your breath until you feel the slightest sudden urge to breathe. If you start to feel that, let it go. I'm gonna take that time. Our goal is to get above 20 seconds. A lot of times, if you have insufficient breathing patterns, if you have the inability to cope with CO2, you're gonna have those less in time. Take a normal breath in. Take a really normal breath in.
All right.
That was definitely not a normal breath.
I breathe like that all the time, Phil. I'm at the bank.
As soon as you exhale, plug your nose up, hold your breath, and I'll start the timer. Remember the slightest sudden urge to breathe. Good. 12 seconds. A lot of people overbreathe. They breathe too much. So that's insufficient breathing patterns. You want to breathe just enough to get the oxygen in, to deliver that oxygen to the working tissue. And then when you go in higher intensities, then you're not overbreathing in that perspective. So then you're not dipping into lactic zones because you're not breathing too much where you're hyperventilating. The way you're going to increase that, I want you to start thinking about breathing more slowly, more lighter, and start breathing through your nose. The thing is, you got to stabilize, right? So stay between 150 and 200. Gonna feel easy now. Once it gets up to about 350, it's gonna start hitting. So we're at 112 right here, right? 112. There below zone 2. I only want nasal breathing in this zone until you start going above 3. Don't let it drop below 150, you're good. Just don't let it go above 200. 5 seconds, I want you to bump it to 200, 200 to about 250. So you should see a steady incline in his heart rate as he's getting higher in his watt output. Good. Now you can go in through your nose, out through your mouth. All right, we're bringing up 50 more watts. So now he's staying at about 250 to 300. Roughly right 280 would be a good range. Heart rate's creeping up a little bit more. He's in zone 3 at 137. We're deep into zone 3 right now, about to dip into zone 4 where he's gonna hit right around that max. Okay, bump it, 300 plus. Let's go 300 to 320. Physiologically, you're there. You can keep going. It's all in your head. Good, let's go with 350. 350 to 378. Doing good, let's go. Keep pushing, bump it, 400, 400 here, 400. Keep it above it, come on. Don't stop, keep going. Keep going, fight it, get it up higher, get it up higher. 1 more minute like that, go. All out, come on, finish it. Time, good, 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 breathe, breathe. Look, 162, 162, what I want. 90% of his max heart rate. Throw that on there. That's it. Okay, relax, breathe. Now we're gonna look at recoverability within that minute. You still had oxygen. What do you feel like was giving out on you the most?
Oxygen.
You were slightly over breathing. You're taking a lot of oxygen. It's hard for you to let that CO2 go. So once you get that, you bring that oxygen in, you can't let that CO2 go. What ends up happening, right? You start to hit that buildup of carbon dioxide. Then you become acidic. We were talking real quick about why Juji is trying to get his conditioning and is getting his cardio up.
So about a year and a half ago, I started kind of getting into doing the cardio for bodybuilding show prep. When you're doing that, it's just kind of like checking off a box, okay? Like you just do it and whatever, but it got to the point where it was like, if I'm trying to fix my blood work, you can try a lot of things as a bodybuilder. We're on performance enhancing drugs, and some of those center column drugs will raise your RBC values. So you either have to donate blood or do more cardio, which eats up the red blood cells. So I started to do more cardio to get better at it, get better stamina, not just check off the box. And I noticed my blood work was just like, boom, cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Like I was like, holy shit, this is the magic pill I've been looking for forever. That means I'm healthy now. I don't have to worry about this. So what happened is it lowered my blood pressure, which fixed the kidney values, which, also kept the RBCs in check, and then also staying lean, keeps your triglycerides in check. My HDL went up, my LDL is low. Training benefits, aside from health benefits, was I can do almost twice as much work in a bodybuilding workout because with 3 or 4 minute rest period between like a set of 10 or 12, it's a good set if you take it near the limit. Now I can superset 2 exercises together in the same amount of time. My workouts are more dense, it's more efficient, and then like you said, the recoverability.
You have great recoverability with this training too as well. That shows me that your capacity is up there. You're able to produce that oxygen and get it to the system appropriately.
So I'm wondering, like, where's the point where it's just like it starts to interfere with what I'm doing because I haven't found it yet. The more I kind of put more of this into my training, the better everything is. My life, my blood work, my training.
True, and we're in it for longevity. It's more for health and wellness overall. It can help performance. All right, so that's a wrap. We just ran him through a full combat sports assessment. Finished with the maximal aerobic power. How'd you feel?
Pretty good, except for the jumping.
Yeah,
a little with the knee. I was kind of like guarding it, but a lot of the stuff I had no idea was going on in my body. Like this, like all this internal rotation, external rotation differences, I had no clue that was there. And it explained a lot of why like certain like range of motion I have with certain sides for what I do. So it's really cool to like, oh, I didn't even know that was related to that.
And then also like he did really well with the maximal aerobic power, just from a psychological perspective. A lot of guys, when they start to feel that particular like, all right, it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They start to die off and also cognitively they just go somewhere else. It was really good to see and also get to see like where that heart rate range was gonna be at that particular zone, and it hit right on point. So we can take that now and put it into a protocol to help you improve and progress going forward.
Does that assessment that you just did, is there a big difference between body weight sizes? Because I'm 250, and if you test someone that's 150 or 200, what differences do you usually see? Yeah,
we see metrics that are for heavyweights and like lighter heavyweights, like light heavyweights, things like that with the fighters. They're gonna have better power output too. But it is different because even with lighter girls, like they don't have a big enough engine like that. They may get up to 300, 350, but they don't need to have that power, but they have great endurance. It just depends. Usually, mostly the guys that have strength, they can get up to that 400 range.
Wow.
It's just, can they sustain that?
It's pretty cool, thank you. I just got a free assessment by Phil. Daru, thank you.
I think you just swallowed my hand with that, man. All right, see you guys next time. Peace. Boom.